guess this is probably the most dear to my heart. When you talk about history, when you talk about Somerville County, and when you talk about Chalk Mountain, when you talk about Glen Rose, when you talk about Nemo, when you talk about Rainbow, I can go on and on, because that is dear to my heart. When I first noticed the paper at the permit, that always catches my eye, because when people get permits, that means they're going to upset me some way. And the permit was for a rock crushing. I did not know where it was. I couldn't find out anything about it. I couldn't find out anything posted anywhere. Finally found it. It's at the public library. But that's okay. We found it. And then whenever I heard that they were going to take down the mountain, I thought, this just doesn't make sense. They're taking the mountains down everywhere in Somerville County. I've talked about removing the rock, or rock mining, I call it. And if you go on the internet and you look, it's actually rock mining. There are very few regulations. So you talk to different people, well, what are we going to do about the rock going out? And, I haven't had any answers there. So I thought, well, perhaps this is our chance now. We'll get some answers. My point of view comes from every one of those things: danger to the species, danger to the air, danger to the water. I look at all of these, but I guess probably what's dearest to my heart is danger to the historical aspects of our county. I think that it's proper, and I think it's timely that we look at this, because according to the regulations set up by the Texas Historical Commission, we can also designate a piece of land as a historic monument. It doesn't have to have a building on it. Just a piece of land that has one little bit of history that's been recorded about that piece of land. Well, if you look at Somerville County, there's very few places that is not historical. You start with the dinosaur tracks. That goes back a long way to how historical can you get. You look at Comanche Peak. I don't know whether you've noticed Comanche Peak or not, but as I remembered as a child, it was a plateau all the way around. Now it looks like a saddleback mountain. So that's one historical thing in our viewing area that has disappeared. We can see that, as I remember Chalk Mountain as a child, you didn't go through Chalk Mountain, you went around Chalk Mountain. So, but I'm sure that would be a little easier to go over the mountain. And they did put in a beautiful park up there, and we all enjoy that. That land was donated by the Gibbs family. It's 50 years old this year. I've been talking to Mr. Gibbs, and I wonder, we talked about how his family would feel if this spot in Somerville County would have the scars left from the rock crusher. We wondered about how our ancestors would feel about that. As a member of the Preservation Board in the city of Glen Rose, we look at all of these things, not just within the city limits, but without the city limits. Right now we have a plan going. Hopefully, that since the Texas Historical Commission allows this, we will be able to spot historical areas and have it designated. This is a historical place. We have many of them around Somerville County that need to have this designated as a historical place. I also am a member of several lineage organizations. We visit these cemeteries regularly. I am the new chairman for the preservation for the Daughters of the American Revolution. I've got so many of them I can't keep them straight. But the DAR, and we will be very into the preservation. Another thing we have to look at is the historical aspects from an archaeological point of view. There are fossils in every rock in Somerville County. There are dinosaur tracks in every area of Somerville County. In fact, I believe they found dinosaur tracks when they built the Comanche Peak plant. So we don't know how many we lose every time they crush them up in rock. So I have to look at those things. We have several cemeteries in the area: Chalk Mountain, Odin's Chapel, Odin Cemetery, Cottonwood Church. All of these are part of the history of Glen Rose in Somerville County. We need to look at these things because whatever they do in rock crushing and dynamiting will affect these areas. In fact, if they dynamite, we'll feel that in the city of Glen Rose. We have several buildings in the city that are underprotected. We have several, if you notice, whenever you come down across the bridge across the Biloxi, as the trucks sit there, they vibrate. What's happening is the mortar between the rocks are falling out. So we have to look at all of these things. But my hope is that by banding together, talking about this, talking to sending emails, writing letters, that we will have some effect on keeping this at a level that we can live with it, and the people who want to come in will be able to find another place. So let's keep up the good work, get the letters in as quickly as possible. We need more than 55. Thanks.